compilation of Hark a Vagrant webcomics.
Can you read them to me?
Funny comics about history.
Please read them
They're
to me.
Great.
And describe the pictures.
Okay, this one's about Wuthering Heights.
All right.
So you got Heathcliff looking mad.
All right.
In the first panel, and it reads, "What drives Heathcliff?" And he's saying, "It's all fuck it."
Hello and welcome to the Pixel Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ethan.
Hello.
And with Ricardo.
Yo.
And yes, we'll hopefully. Should I pull back the curtain here, guys, on your dance?
Might as
on
well.
Your dance? Yeah, sure
What
thing.
are you talking about?
I'm watching them dance right now, but not in person.
Oh my
We are using the internet to communicate. Because someone had to get sick. It was me. I got sick. And then Ethan got sick as well, and Ethan didn't go to the doctor, and I did, and then Ethan is still sick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the thing is Ethan, you've been sick for a while.
About a week. I went to the doctor. He said I have one of those hot new viruses.
Hot new.
It's
Everyone's been wanting it.
It's a brand new one.
They're
Ain't nobody
flying
seen
off
it
the
before.
shelf.
What's the name?
It's just hitting the streets. It's a new. It's like a cold hybrid, so it lasts instead of 1 week, it lasts 2 whole weeks. It's pretty crazy.
This is like
Man.
This is like pandemic. I know what this is like.
Does it got a working title?
Let me see. It is called viral syndrome.
That's not a real thing.
That's what it says.
Stupidest name ever.
Yeah,
it
you're
says
making
on
that
here.
up. You're making that up.
That's what it says on my after visit summary from Kaiser Permanente. Viral syndrome.
Got that Kaiser.
Anyway, so
Got
I'm
that
out for a little
German-
bit longer.
that
I'm
German-
feeling much better, but
That's good.
yeah.
Ricardo's not so thrilled about you feeling better, though.
Viral. I was, but then it's like viral syndrome.
Viral syndrome is my rap name.
I'm just not that into it.
Viral
man.
syndrome hitting them
This new
streets,
Viral syndrome.
dropping them hard, dropping them fast. Nobody sees them
Yeah.
coming. They get sick for 2 weeks. They don't even know. They're taken by the sickness.
Viral syndrome is definitely a rap name. Yeah.
Viral syndrome.
I think he raps
What
about
up?
like
Yay,
his
yay.
beef with bacteria.
That run. Bacteria try to come into my hood, tell
And
me
then
what
he
to do,
talks
tell my
about how
boys,
much-
to my crew.
How much of a bitch antibiotics are. He's like, yo, that shit don't work on me. And then he just throws it down.
Pandemic, epidemic. Well, we're working up there.
We're working on it.
We're workshopping
Work
it.
on viral syndrome.
That just reminds me of I watched all of Master of None in like a day because I was sick.
It's a good show.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it is, and
Good show.
that movie that fake movie that he's in that show. Of
Oh, yeah.
The Sickening, which is also a really great terrible name for a fake virus.
Yep. Yeah, it was a pretty good fake movie.
Car man.
He
Or
just
the human car.
yeah, car person.
Car person.
What about car man? That's just genius. It's genius.
So,
Video games.
enough about Aziz Ansari.
And it's just stupid
Unless he
shows
made a
that are
video game.
stupid and funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Aziz in any games? Does he voice anybody in any games?
I feel like that's
Anybody
that's
knows?
around the corner. I feel like that's
Soon. I don't know.
soon.
We're going to do a quick Google search, make sure we're not stupid.
All right, this is what we get. Anyway, let's talk about games that we actually played, other than potential games that could theoretically be out there. Yes or
Games.
What have you played, Ricardo? You're the one that's on my screen.
me?
You're the one that's on my screen currently. So yes.
Okay.
You're up.
I've been playing, you guys know, of a hot little genre. It's been picking up steam lately.
Is it on Steam?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
it
game
is.
on Steam? Okay. Yeah, it's on Steam. The MMORPG.
That's not MOBA. I think you meant MOBA. MOBA's hot. MOBA's hot. MMORPG,
No,
that's old.
multiplayer
World of Warcraft's
online.
dead. Ugh.
That's the joke, Ethan.
Ugh.
I mean, that's the joke. So I've been playing the new
Is this a bit?
Final Fantasy. It was supposed to be a bit, and then Ethan just ruined it.
My bad.
Implying that MMOs, nobody plays them anymore, is what I'm implying.
Oh,
Except for millions of people.
you're right.
Ricardo. Millions
You're
of people.
right. You're right, but there's only about, like, 3 that people play. I'm playing, like, the number 2 that people play
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm playing...
Second tries harder, right? That's
Yes,
that's what I'm
exactly.
saying.
Exactly. It wants it more.
Matrix
It's
Online.
still... Yes.
The beautiful
Star Wars Galaxy.
Yes.
The beautiful one knows that they're gonna get what they want, but this one's the
Yeah.
one that's actually like, gonna work for it. You know, that's
Precisely.
what you're saying.
Auto Assault.
Yes.
City of Heroes.
I've been playing
City of Villains.
Wild Star.
Guild
Oh,
Wars
is that
2.
around still?
I think WildStar's still around.
I think
Yeah,
Guild Wars 2 is actually not doing terribly.
Yeah, no. It's I honestly, full disclosure, I don't know if this is the second
You're
one.
just making
or not,
claims.
but I know
Certainly from
it's a popular
Certainly
one.
from buzz, it's kind of the second one, right? I feel like
Final Fantasy XIV.
A Realm,
Realm
Reborn.
Reborn. I don't know what
Dragon
the correct
Rider.
subtitle is, because right now it's like in the Heaven's Word.
Sephiroth, Goku, the Stampede.
Yes, except none of those people are in the game.
That's what it's called, though.
If only.
Specifically Goku.
It's really weird.
But yeah, I got into that. I'm playing it on the PS4, not on the PC.
Doesn't it have a
as you may
subscription?
know. Yeah, but you get 30 days.
Okay.
So I'm just trying it out.
Try it
Trying it out.
They get those
here.
hooks in you, man.
And guess what? Those hooks, they're getting in there.
They're getting in?
Pretty deep.
How far?
They're
How many
getting-
millimeters?
Like if
This is
we
America.
pulled out the hook now, would it like rip out your jaw like a fish? That can happen to a fish sometimes.
This
It's
is
gross.
getting graphic. No. Well, I see. That's the thing. Is where are these hooks going in? Where are they going in?
You tell me. You're the one with the hooks.
Yeah. I mean,
Directly into both nipples.
Whoa.
you say whatever piercings you want to get, man. I'm not here to judge.
You're like that guy in Mad Max, the Gastown guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a giant foot as well. That's
Unrelated to
Yeah,
that.
it's
This is unrelated to Final
directly-
Fantasy, though. That part is separate from that.
directly out of frame. I like how long I've talked now without actually talking about the game.
Hey,
Sorry,
that's par for the course with us.
Final Fantasy XIV. Hey,
Realm
you
Reborn.
played have you played an MMO? This is another one.
What?
I don't know. It's really interesting because when I actually think about what this game does different or better than other MMOs, I can't really think about it. It's just a really slickly produced MMO. It looks really good. The music's fantastic. The loot loop is really good. The thing about Final Fantasy XIV that's interesting is when you are going from place to place, there's always consistently community events going on called fates that you can immediately jump into and jump out of. So, like, if I'm traveling from, these are actual names, Ul'dan to Central Thanalin, then there will be, like, maybe 3 or 4, like, fates that'll pop up, and they can range between, like, hey, this one dude's looking for, like, a bunch of this one item, like, everybody quickly go find a bunch of it and do it before the time runs out and you all get good experience and stuff like that. Or it could be like, this guy's trying to hold back a wave of this oncoming, like, really tough enemy. Hold the line with them. And it's fun because, like, you'll start out just you and the NPC if you're, like, the first one at the site of the fate. And then because it's, you know, a community thing, just a bunch of people just jump in immediately and there's just, like, things flying everywhere, and it's like it feels really cool. Like, it feels like you're part of that bigger world, which is what MMOs, you know, strive to do or whatever.
That, Guild Wars 2 did a similar thing, if I recall.
It did.
Yeah,
correctly.
I think they did.
So did Destiny to an extent.
I'm
Yeah, that's
sure
the thing, is, like,
WoW
if-
does something like that nowadays, right?
Kind of. It's not as like, I don't know. I feel like it's more prolific in those other games.
That's the thing, is it reminded me a lot about a lot of Destiny, but whereas like Destiny, you could be out in the, out in like a hub world for quite some time without one of those popping up. Like, these are just happening all the time, and you can jump into them if you want. You can jump out of them. Like, there have been ones where I've run in and like barely anybody joins, and I have to ditch them or whatever like that. It's interesting. Again, I guess I'm not familiar enough with MMOs to know where this game kind of like really deviates from the normal formula.
As resident MMO expert, I will have to come over and check this out.
Yes,
and inspect it.
Sit here on the couch.
Give it a an exam.
An inspection, you know? Does it meet quality standards?
Does it like have any lumps in it or anything like that?
Good thing we caught this early.
This MMO could have
Now
got
it's
its hooks
treatable.
way into you. Luckily, it's not good. Turn it off.
So the way the class system is kind of interesting, because you choose a race and then you choose a class, and the class kind of depends. Changes where your starting city is, and then if you get far enough into the game, you can kind of deviate in another way. And then if you reach 2 classes, like a certain level, you get like a 3rd class combined. So right now I'm a pugilist, DPS that punches people in the face. And if I get far enough, I can deviate into Lancer, and if I get far enough in both of those levels, I can become a monk. It's kind of
Ethan is thrilled by this right now.
No, I was just wondering what the heck a pugilist is.
like a boxer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a fancy name for a boxer.
Okay.
You know what happens to me? What happens is when you guys stop talking, it freeze frames in the last face you had. So Ethan was just smiling dead on at the camera, like,
Oh, really?
like staring straight at it with no movement whatsoever.
It's so weird.
And it was freaking me out for a minute. I was worried he was actually that was still live video,
No.
and he was just like staring
I was
straight
eating.
at it, fully smiling. It was hilarious.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's a hard game to talk about because
It's
you
an
know
MMO.
the MMO formula. It's you go to a place, guy gives you a quest to go
What's the
kill
level cap?
something, bring it back. 60?
Okay.
60, I think. I'm at level 11 right
Okay.
now, so I just opened up Chocobo Travel from place
Oh,
to
so
place.
it's just
I
a
don't have a
mount?
mount. I don't have a mount.
Oh.
I don't have a mount yet. It's just a rail system.
Oh,
it's like a
it's
rail
like
system.
Griffins in World of Warcraft. Okay.
Yeah, it's like that. There's like also a huge like auction house and residence thing that you can open up to. Like there's a specific place that has like all these buildings owned by players, and you can join a free company, which is a guild, and buy like a house together, and then that could be your place of operations and stuff like that. I think that's kind of like similar to the garrison stuff in World of Warcraft.
Sorta.
The story's very, very Final Fantasy. Very, there's crystals. The crystals, like there's evil protruding in the world. You gotta go capture the 6 crystals to
You get
like
to purify.
shove it back in back in place.
It's like a whack-a-mole game. These crystals are popping out, and you're like,
Like,
"No, get back in there!"
These damn chaos
weird.
crystals.
It's weird because it's like the hook of the story is that like there's this place called Eorza. There was a big war between 2 factions, and then basically the moon cracked open, and Bahamut, the big dragon god guy, came out and
You always
decimated
summon-
like everybody, and they had to kind of bound forces together.
Who
to...
summoned that guy?
Oh, I don't know. He's a summon. Bahamut is a Final Fantasy summon, as well as I think a
One of the only
Who's
consistent threads.
mythological thing.
Man, I haven't really ever liked Final Fantasy in terms of its lore stuff. At least, I mean,
It's always very basic in terms of there's some bad thing happening. You have to go.
that's going to destroy the
6.
entire world, and like, but it's always
Yeah.
like a purify, like some god or deity
Yeah.
or life essence is been damaged.
Yeah, definitely. Like here, there's like I don't
crystals.
even know
Something
really how to
crystals.
describe it. Something about crystals.
Something about crystals. It's Crystal Chronicles. This is the sequel. This is the sequel to.
So, are there classes and like? I mean, not classes, but are like classes like at like a Holy Trinity where it's a tank, healer, DPS sort of thing?
Yeah, like okay, so I play as a pugilist. He's kind of like a DPS. He's supposed to keep a high rate of attack. Like he's supposed to keep a high rate of attack. The way he works is that he has 3 stances, and he has moves that transform him into the 3 stances. And what you want to do is go from first stance to second stance to third stance, so you get Grease Lightning, and then your attack's like double. So you want to keep
that real move?
Like in. What's up?
Is Grease Lightning a real move?
It's like the status that you go into once you go through the first, second, third stance, and then basically you want to try and stay in that as long as possible. So like time it so that you hit third stance just as it runs out, so you go back into Grease Lightning and stuff like that. It's interesting. Then there's like Marauder, Gladiator's kind of your sword and board like tank class. There's Archer, which is range class. There's Magic Wielders. There's Dark Magic, which are kind of your DPS magic, and your White Magic, which is your healing magic. So like but I feel like it also it does it in a very Final Fantasy sort of way where everybody's class is really weird. Like, there's no just warrior class. There's Marauder and there's Gladiator, and those kind of make up your 2 melee champions, and then Pugilist is its own thing, and I don't know. It's interesting. The races are all kind of, like, they're Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They're Final Fantasy, so,
That's
like,
cool.
there's
How's
I just
it...
play as a... What's up?
Oh, I was saying I was interested to see how it plays on a console. How's it play with the controller? MMOs are pretty famous for having a million key bindings and moves you gotta put out at once.
That's another really interesting thing is that like when you boot up the game, I actually do not know how you install this game, first of all, because like I was like, all right, it's a PS4 game, like. I've got it on disc. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the disc in, and it's going to load up whatever it needs to do, and then go like that. So I did that. It downloaded a bunch of stuff, and then it was like, oh, you need to put in the code, like that came alongside the game, and I was like, oh, okay, let me do that. And then I try to put in the code, and it's like, there's already a disc version of this on the system. You need to delete that. And I'm like, okay. And so I deleted that, and then I put in the code, and then that downloaded a bunch of other stuff, and now I never have to put the disc in. Like, so I don't even... The disc is a piece of garbage as far as I'm concerned.
Sounds like piece of garbage. Yeah.
So, yeah, so that happened. And then when you boot up the game, it goes to, like, a browser... like the launcher, like a browser launcher, where your control stick is actually just a mouse arrow, so it's almost like it brought up like
logging
a bootleg,
in to the web browser.
So it's really weird. The way it controls is like you use your shoulder buttons for all your hotbar stuff, and you like scroll through. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but now I've like learned to navigate it. You can also use the touchpad on the controller as like a mouse arrow to just click anything on the screen if you want to. I'm enjoying playing it on the controller. I can see where it might get a little clumsy in like higher level stuff where like you really, really need to be on like your stuff, and you need multiple like fingers to hit everything that you need to at once in sequence or whatever. But as of right now, it's working out fine.
That's cool. I feel like I feel like that'd be interesting, especially like at higher levels. When you have a lot more moves and stuff like that, how they negotiate something like that. Like, I always thought it'd be tricky enough doing like Diablo on a controller, and they pulled that up pretty well. Yeah, I feel like more and more places are adapting to that move set.
At least
sure. It's not the first MMO to be on a console either, but it's just
Diablo
those are famous for having just a bunch of buttons.
Yeah, Diablo 3 at least only has like 4 skills at a time, or 6 at max, I guess.
Right.
Well, like,
but I mean,
MMOs,
if you asked someone 10 years ago, like, oh man, Diablo on a console, people would be like,
true.
that would be the garbage version of Diablo.
Like StarCraft on a console? What?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So like right now, it's like you hold the R2 button, and it brings up a hot bar, and now each of the buttons
How hot?
does
1 to 10.
It's about an 8.
Okay.
It's about 8, mainly because that's the number of commands you can do on each hotbar.
Clever girl.
There's the 4 buttons, and then the 4 directional buttons all do one, and then the other shoulder button brings up a different hotbar, same thing, and then you can quick scroll with the R1 button, or you can hold the R1 button and go immediately to any like hotbar you want to. Like, so you can have up to 8 hotbars on your controller. So I could see where it might get a little
That's a lot of
clumsy.
hotbars.
It's a lot of hotbars to navigate on a controller, but so far it's working out fine.
That's
I only
cool.
have to manage like 4, so it's fine.
Well,
It's
for
fine.
now.
We'll
now.
check in. We'll check in again then to find out how this
Yeah.
is continuing with you. If you will continue to pay, I think it's $15 a month, right?
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it's 15 for that one. So that'll be the real. That's always the real test with MMOs.
Yeah.
If like, the first 30 days. I mean, they usually, if they're good, if they're well designed, they're gonna try and get you. Like the first part of the game is gonna be real fun. For a lot of MMOs, and then it just kind of after it gets to the grind, and also after the initial
Level 50.
the new thing has worn off, but it'll still be fun after that.
Yeah, I mean I just have I don't have even the second expansion, Heaven's Word, or I guess the second expansion, Heaven's Word. Yet.
Heaven's
I
Sword?
just have the base. It's Heaven's Word, like
Heaven,
heavens,
like the word of God.
No, like heaven, like if you're going like northward or southward or backward, but this is Heaven's Word.
Heaven-
like you're going
Weird.
But not heavenward.
Final
but not,
Fantasy.
but not heavenward.
No, Heaven's Word.
That just
Up. I don't know. It's Final Fantasy. What do you want?
demons souls. Demons souls.
Souls.
This is Japanese developers not getting their English translations
Heaven's Word.
in the best of grammar.
Meh.
But yeah, so I'll play the 30 days here and see how far I get, and if I like it, might keep subscribing, get Heaven's Word and stuff. But we'll see. I'll probably play it directly after we're done with this podcast. Honestly,
It's addiction,
That
man.
good.
it's fun. It's fun. I like it.
Addiction. He's got hooks.
Addiction.
Deep hooks.
Yep.
That's why I don't play it. I played 30 days of World of Warcraft, and I was like, I am gonna pay for this if I keep playing this game, and I can't pay for this if I keep playing this game.
I did.
So I
It's
stopped.
good. It's good, man.
Well, also, I didn't have. This is like when I was, a young teenager. I didn't have a job or anything like that. My parents would not have paid $15 a month for me, so I was like, well, then I'm
Steal to play. Go rob a liquor store.
It's the
just
new.
to play.
It's the new free to play cycle. Steal the play.
Just run into a
Not-
GameStop, take all those cars, just go, just rip them
Not
all off
play
the
to
shelf,
win.
run home,
Steal the play.
steal the
Ethan, what online massively multiplayer or slightly less massively multiplayer game have you been playing?
Why? I was playing the Division beta.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say Super Mario Land.
No, I didn't want to say that. That was an obvious joke.
Okay. Anyway, what the Division beta that is out? I've been hearing good things.
it's out.
What's it all
I
about?
think it's just ending today, which is, well, I guess it's depending on when this goes up, but Monday it ended. But yeah, that game is pretty neat so far. Right now, it kind of seems like it's just Destiny in a lot of ways, mixed with Gears of War kind of combat.
And numbers.
And well, yeah, it's Destiny, so yeah.
Destiny has that too.
But yeah, it does a lot.
And Tom Clancy.
A lot more interesting. Yeah, so the thing that's weird about it is it's set in New York after like a post-apocalyptic virus hits or something like that.
The Sickening.
Yeah, the Sickening. So
The moon cracked open and Bahamut came.
yeah, exactly.
Like, what's
And the
up?
crystals,
Oh, blow up all
and the
this
crystals.
stuff.
You got to get the crystals in all the areas of New York, and
Yeah,
make them go
that part
back
was
down.
really weird. I didn't get that. That was a weird
Yeah.
direction they went in, but Ubisoft taking
And then-
chances.
Nancy got weird in his
And then,
old age.
and then Materia.
This is what happens after he passed away. They're just let's just get weird. I don't know. So anyway,
And that awoken the ancient, the elder god underneath the city, which so you gotta go through the dungeons, your mansion, and you gotta go down underneath, and take a team of 4 players into the dark zone. It's called the darkest
in
zone.
the darkest zone, and then every time you betray someone, it's like traitor. No, but the thing about it is it's weird because it's got like it's New York, so it's realistic. Everything's real.
It's realistic
looking. It's people. It's not like aliens or something. You're shooting them and numbers are flying off. So people are not super bullet spongy, but there are like, look at that guy. He's blue. And you shoot him like a lot, and then he drops crazy loot, and you get this sweet
He's a
hat.
man. He's just like a guy who's really tough.
He's a super tough guy. Like sometimes I saw one guy, I walked in, and he was just standing on top of a bunch of crates, just shooting at like random stuff. And he was yellow, and it was pretty fun to just shoot him. And then, he got pissed off and started running at me. But the game is just...
As you do.
It's weird because you're walking around, and it's like, this is, this street is level 1 through 4. This street is level 7 through 9. And
it's just like real New York. I don't see any
exactly.
here.
It's like some kid thought of like played a lot of MMOs and was like, what if New York was an MMO? What if I had to ride the subway and got leveled up from that? And it's just a weird thing like that.
I don't. But they probably.
Do you get leveled up by riding the subway?
You level up by walking
It's a
around
real
exploring.
thing.
So, yeah, sure.
I feel like the location and the gameplay are probably two separate things in this thing.
It is, but it's odd because it's like you don't see this heavy of RPG elements in sort of like a realistic military shooter looking thing.
That's true.
That being said,
this is why Ubisoft just slaps Tom Clancy's name on anything that's moderately realistic looking. Is like it's close enough.
Because this is very much not a Tom Clancy game at all, really. Because most Tom Clancy games are like super real. Take this side,
tactical
cover, and blah blah. This is just like, oh, shoot the guys a lot, and then run and collect their loot. It's cool. There's a lot of weird stuff.
Tom Clancy's Watch Dogs.
Yeah, kind of.
So
there's a lot
Clancy's
of
Assassin's Creed.
Weird stuff with the kind of the world. The world is super detailed. There's something I thought was really cool. Like you could just walk around and find like little enclaves and be like, oh, I could shoot some guys from down up here, and like all the details of the world are very well thought out and bring it kind of to life. There's also a surprising amount of NPCs walking around that are just like civilians, and sometimes they'll walk up to you and it'll be like, civilian in need, give soda. And I was like, what give a soda to a civilian? Okay. So I walked up, hit the E button, gave a civilian a soda, and they're like,
I hate sodas.
They're like, thanks, you're the best. And then they walk away and leave me a sweet jacket, and I picked that blue jacket up and I put it on. It was super weird.
It's a good trade in real life when it's snowing in winter and you're in New York and someone gives you a soda. You're like, I don't need my jacket now.
Get this jacket out
soda.
of here. But it was really funny because another person came up to me and they're like, I want a candy, I want a energy bar or something. And I'm like, I don't have any energy bars. So they just look at me for like, about 10 seconds. Then you just go, screw you, man, and then just leave. I was like, oh, this is weird. This is like
you're just like the handout king, or is that what it's going on?
I guess like it's so weird. Of course, you could just shoot these civilians too. I don't know.
So the more I've actually seen of Tom Clancy's The Division, the more I've realized I didn't know what the hell this game was before it actually.
No one did.
They didn't do a great job of explaining thoroughly, at least until more recently.
Yeah, it's just seriously, it's a lot like Destiny. I feel like the loot system seems a little bit more robust and interesting because you have cosmetic items and like items that actually improve your character and like a lot more slots. It feels. In a lot of ways,
you don't have to deal with light or
not yet anyway. That's higher level stuff. We haven't seen that.
Rushed trinkets or moon dust or hydrogen peroxide or whatever
wizards
you get
from
to
the
collect in that game. Yes.
Disney got shaders. That's cosmetic.
Yeah,
that wizard came from the Bronx. That paladin was from Rhode Island.
I keep muting myself when I cough, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's really jarring because I just see your face just like grimace to the side and then just no sound comes out. You're just like...
it'll sound good on audio.
Yeah. And no one is gonna, it's just gonna be an empty spot there and people are like, why is Ricardo talking about him coughing? He hasn't coughed at all.
Exactly. So, the beta, there's a lot of stuff cut off from the beta. There's like talents and perks and all stuff that you can't see that is like hidden off. I mean, it just feels like very much like, here's one mission.
It's a taster.
There you go. I know, it's a taster.
Get some hooks. It's an MMO.
But those hooks just make me question, like, how deep is this game? Is it going to be like Destiny, or there's not much content at the end? The Dark Zone stuff seems pretty interesting, where...
That seems really, like it has the potential to be cool, and every single stream I've watched of it so far hasn't quite met that. But go ahead and I want to hear what your experience was like.
Well, I was playing with a friend, and we went in there, and we were just running around, and it would eventually be like, this guy went rogue, kill him, and it'd be like, oh, crazy. So we're going up to this helicopter. So the way the Dark Zone works is you run around the city, specific area of the city, which has been too contaminated for anyone to like have normal control over, so civilians don't walk in there. You have to have like a filter to go in. You could walk around, and basically you could find like different landmarks and sections that have looters and stuff. You shoot them, you get this loot that's generally way better than like the story loot. But the only way to get that loot out of here is you can't take it through the way you came in. You have to put it through decontamination. And the only way to do that is to call in a helicopter. And the helicopter, everyone knows.
This jacket might have germs.
Exactly.
Germ jacket.
Let's get all that stuff out of here. So this.
That's how they did it to the Native Americans.
Pretty much. So
cool jackets with germs on them.
They're really cool jackets. They're blue.
Yeah.
Some
they
of
gave
them
him a
were
soda,
even...
and then this is the worst jacket they ever asked for. So the helicopter comes in, and you have to get to the helicopter as soon as you can. Now, the interesting thing about this whole area is generally everyone's on the same side until someone goes rogue and just starts killing everyone. So if you get a group of 4 people in there, and you kind of know what you're doing, you could just keep murdering people over and over and over again and camp the helicopter zone, which was
That's what I saw a lot of.
Which was pretty interesting, because it's like, I gotta go here, I gotta get this stuff. And so what I would do is I would sit in there and wait until someone went rogue, shoot them, take their stuff, while I was acting like I'm hiding, I don't hear here. Take their stuff, put it in the helicopter, and then just run away as the other person spawns in again.
Yeah, because you spawn in again after you. It's not like you die, you go back to.
You lose all your loot, spawn, which is the whole reason you're there.
You lose actual other loot besides the stuff that you were gathering.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you lose experience points as well. It's to deter you from just like frivolously going in and treating it like a
patrolling
multiplayer.
Zone.
Yeah, like a multiplayer.
Okay,
arena.
so that explains why your Dark Zone kind of goes down or whatever your rank.
Yeah, your Dark Zone rank. Yeah, it's not like your in-game. It's not like your main story experience points, but you do lose like some form of experience and other loot.
But it's interesting because stuff like DayZ kind of does stuff like this, but no one seems to be on the same team in that. Everyone's just like, I'm gonna murder you. Soon, I never was able to be friends with anyone except for like one person. Well, this time I'm mostly running around, and people are like, "Hey, there's a bunch of assholes over here. Let's go shoot them." And the voice commands are cool because you can hear where the people are coming from, so it has like directional audio. So you'd be like, "Oh, this person on my left is yelling at me," and they're like, "Come help me!" And so I'll go, over there and yell at them and try to help them.
Hey, what are you kids doing?
What are you doing?
Stop shooting each other. You knock it off.
Why do you need my help? Get out of here.
Why can't you guys handle this on your own?
Hey, I heard you went rogue. What are you doing, kid? What are you doing with your life?
Yep.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Sit down. What are you doing? Oh my gosh.
Let me turn my chair around and have a quick sesh with you.
Seriously.
I listen.
You want to end up like me?
Rap.
You want to end up like
Listen,
me?
look
All
at
my
me.
experience points gone.
I ain't
Down the
nothing
drain.
anymore. I ain't nothing. I'm lowest on the totem pole over here.
It's too late for me, kids. Too late for me.
Listen.
Too late for me. But you got a chance.
You can
Turn
turn
your
your
life
life around, all right? You need to stop being broke. You need to calm down. Anyway, so that seems really interesting. I'm curious to see how it progresses because right now it just seems very basic. Like, just run around. I don't know, shoot stuff.
Yeah, so everything they showed off about this, like at the E3 press conferences with all their very scripted, like, hey guys, let's be tactical. All right, Jess, you're going to go in on the left side. But like all that stuff, but like they were like these big things where it's like, all right, we're going to the Dark Zone. Oh, it's crazy. All right, it's you and me and then the other guy, and we're all coordinating. Oh, quick, go get those guys. Oh no, it's another team. Oh no, what do we do? Okay, they're gonna be cool. Okay, and like there's always like all this talking and like are they gonna be cool? It's like this standoff, and then like when I watched a couple different streams of it, and it seems like it just like. Run in. Oh, someone's gone rogue. Shoot him. Oh, no, I'm rogue now. Everyone's shooting me. Oh, I died. Okay, respawn. Run back in. Oh, what's going on? This guy's rogue over here now. Oh, that guy got killed earlier. He respawned. He's back. And everyone's just, like, crowding around the helicopter, and the helicopter's just, like, landing and then leaving and then landing and then leaving again.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I saw of it.
It turns
like
into chaos.
This one helicopter is just, like, whoop, whoop.
That's always how it is, though, like, with those multiplayer games when they show them off versus, like, the reality. Like, people being like, oh, I'm going to coordinate my powers with this other person over here. And we're going to be like, nice one. Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then in real life, it's
Really,
just
real
like,
life Jimmy
in
sucks.
real life, it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you shooting that guy over there? What are
Stop
you doing?
sucking so much, dude.
I wish there was just like an actual E3 show off demo where it's like literally just everybody yelling at each other because they're playing poorly, because that's the real multiplayer experience.
That would not
really.
look as good on the PR standpoint, but I agree. No, it's just more like I'm wondering if maybe more of that strategy will evolve when the game like fully comes out.
Yeah, I mean, that's also the lowest level zone, so all the like NPCs in there are super like not noteworthy at all. So it'll be interesting when they actually become like a threat.
Right, like I want to know what happens if you're required to team up with people, because like I said, when I saw it, it was just like one person going rogue after another, and then someone trying to shoot the rogue person and accidentally shooting the wrong person, and then now they're rogue,
Yeah,
and then
that could happen
them,
too. What I hope for is like there's maybe like a big boss in there and everyone sees it and they're like, oh,
right,
man.
and like you can't do it with a 4-person team, like, something like
or it's like super hard.
Like something that would like require oh we really need to team up with another enemy
or
team or another
or it alerts everyone to that area and they're like, oh man, the good loot's gonna come here, and then everyone goes in there and they're like, all right, so we're gonna try to divide
something
this
that
loot
would require
up, or...
some sort of dynamic to evolve rather than just everybody shooting everybody at the same time.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works
and
out.
maybe
it
and maybe
has the
also
bones
maybe
for it.
Yeah, and maybe also when it's not in beta, people will care about their loot. People will
That
care
too.
about, oh, if I die, I'll lose my good stuff that I got. Then I do not want to die right now, and so I don't want to betray
That's
anybody.
very true. That's very true.
So
Because
maybe-
beta, it's
maybe
like,
that'll-
whatever, this is goofy.
Yeah. So this beta doesn't count towards any of your progress if you actually buy the game itself.
I
I'm
don't
guessing.
think so.
I would doubt it.
I think that it starts you off at like level 4, so I think,
Yeah.
you're missing some early content.
Yeah, I think there's some sort of intro part that it skips over from.
But it keeps me interested. It's
Yeah,
It seems to be
it
doing
looked cooler than I thought it was going to
yeah, it seems like it could be really cool. I'm just curious if anyone
Could it
else I know
be
will play it.
the best game of 2016.
Maybe, probably not, but maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I'll see how it pans out. I'll see how many people I know get into it, and
Are you gonna buy it day one, or are you gonna?
no, I'm gonna wait. Nah.
That's what's probably gonna really fuel it. With this sort of game, if there's no community behind it, then, or if the community dies off relatively quickly, then games tend to die off relatively quickly. Remember Evolve?
Yeah.
What?
Do you remember Evolve? Exactly.
Oh,
What?
I like that game.
It's not even a
Yeah,
bad
it was a
game.
good game.
It's just
Yeah, just
I think
You
the
do it, you're
focusing
done.
on
You wanna play
multiplayer. I was surprised how much story I saw in the Division. I guess I was just so used to Destiny, and I was expecting it because I had heard it was similar to Destiny.
what are you
Like
talking about?
I had heard it was
Destiny's
similar
got
to
a great
Destiny in the
story.
upcoming months. So I was like, all right, so it's just gonna be like a bunch of shooting, a bunch of running around, getting loot, and like there's like cutscenes and people talking to each other about like objectives and like building the base. I'm like, oh, wow, this is a lot of. I didn't know this is a single player campaign. Like,
Yeah, it's
I thought
super.
this was all just, like-
super weird having all that stuff in there. It's like, oh, this is what Destiny could have had in it as well. Oh, that's kind of odd. All right, well, the shooting isn't as good as Destiny though. I mean, Destiny's got really good shooting. The shooting is fine.
Yeah.
It's not like amazing, but it works. So the other game I've been playing is enough of the Division, which could take place in a post-apocalyptic world. Is Super Mario Land, which is the Game Boy game.
Ooh, Daisy.
Daisy.
Daisy. Similar.
Daisy is in this one.
Daisy's in this one, yeah. I think this is
This is
the
her
first.
first. This is her debut. Her debut.
This is an old game, man. I just felt like going back to it because I used to play it all the time. And I started streaming it, and man, that game is hard. There is no checkpoints or anything. It's just like your lives matter so much in that game. If you don't have enough lives and you failed, you just go back to the start. You just start all over again at the very beginning. And that sucks. That's super discouraging. But I was able to get up to about World 4-2. There's so much weird stuff in that game. Like, Koopas, when you hit them, they just explode, instead of turning into anything.
I know. When I was a kid and I first played that game on my friend's Game Boy,
What's going on over there?
I handed handed my phone to my wife to show her something, and then she just threw it on the floor in response.
It's a good response.
Cool.
She says, don't be distracted.
Yes.
That was a test.
That was
and
it.
you failed.
It was a test, and I failed. And I jumped on a Koopa the first time, and I was like, "Cool, I'm dead." And I was like, "What the heck? This game is way too hard." And I stopped playing it.
It is really hard. It's also really just weird. the animation's odd.
Drive
The way
submarine.
it feels is kind of weird. You turn into a submarine and shoot stuff. And there's a boss that makes a horrible sound like a baby's getting choked.
Oh yeah.
Those Game Boy, the original Game Boy sound effects.
I really liked the music though of at least the first world castle.
Yes.
I can't remember now how it goes, but it's been a long time since I played
There's some really good music in that game.
I remember really liking that game back in the day.
Yeah, so I'm excited probably going to get through that and then maybe play the second one because that's the good one. The first one was cool, but I know the second one improves on it a lot. It's weird. It's also the first Mario game I don't think that's made by Miyamoto or had any sort of blessing by him. It's just like, here you go.
Yeah, it's like a different team. It's weird.
Yeah, there's like also like no regular enemies. There's like weird buzzy beetles that fly up in the air. There's weird moai statues that jump up and down, and ones that just run really fast.
There's the one of the bosses is like a sphinx that shoots fire.
Yeah, and you kill him the same way you kill Bowser.
That's the one. Is that the one on the cover? Because I remember that cover is like Mario. He's like jumping sideways towards the screen, like looking back, and there's like a big sphinx shooting fire out in the background. Are you playing this on virtual console? Or
no, I'm just playing it on emulator because I have just stream. I know.
I see.
I use it to fast. It's nice to fast forward through things because it's like, oh, I know Daisy's gonna turn into whatever animal this is, and then move to the next castle. So that game is really cool though, in a lot of ways. It's just a weird, especially coming off Mario Maker. It's so weird to see just like another.
It'd be really cool it'd be cool if they started adding stuff like that into Mario Maker. I know that's like a real long shot.
Oh yeah, it's
having like a Mario Land, or Super Mario Bros. 2 would be crazy too. But but Mario Land 2, that one's where it's at, man. That was my jam. I never owned a Game Boy, but when I first played that game at my friend's house, I borrowed his Game Boy for like 2 weeks, and like just played that nonstop.
Yeah,
that game is so good.
That game is much better in a lot of ways. Definitely improves on a lot of the stuff.
Well, it's just totally different. It's
I have
a
to
little
beat
bit closer to a traditional
first.
one.
I have to beat it first. It's much harder, I know it, but I have to beat it first.
This one's Mario Land is closer to Super Mario Bros. And then I'd say Super Mario Land 2 is closer to like a Mario Bros. 3 in terms of its graphical style and what it's trying to do.
Let's say that.
The Super Mario Land 2 is on the Virtual Console, or on the 3DS eShop, and I bought that back when it's like $5 or something like that, and I played about half that game over again. I was like, yeah, this game's good. It's got a bunny cap in it. You can fly. And you got Wario.
Oh yeah, Wario looking super weird. Like he's got like a giant head.
That's where he got. I think that's his first. That's the first game he was in. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think where your guys' childhood was Mario Land's, mine was Kirby's Dream Land.
Oh, I played Kirby's Dream Land a lot too. The second one was crazy good.
Kirby Dream Land 2 is the best.
Yeah, I love that game.
So
I should go back to that next. Sort of like weird handheld binge that I've been going on. Yeah, that game's so good.
Yeah, Fire Mario has a flower on it, or a feather on his head.
Oh yeah, and the game's also brutal by the fact that when you get hit with fire, instead of going to like normal or big Mario, you just go straight to little.
Standard. That's what happened in Mario Bros. Originally.
Oh really?
In Mario Maker, they toned that down to the new Super Mario Bros. Version, where you go to Fireball to big and then big to small. But up until I think even Mario World had it where you had it, if you had Fire Flower or a cape and you got hit, you went down to small. I might be misremembering Mario World.
Maybe.
It's Mario Bros. 3 at least. Mario Bros. 3 at least, definitely.
Still did that? Well, that's weird, man. Mario's weird.
It's harder.
Honestly, when you start thinking about Mario, what a weird world that is.
Why is he Italian? Doesn't matter.
What is the lore? Let's not get into the lore of Mario.
Of Mario?
Yeah.
Let's kick it over to game.
Nope.
Theory.
All right. Moving on.
Is Daisy an alternate reality version of Peach?
Let's look at the facts. The same enemies are around, but they're all slightly different.
Who are these bug things that jump up and down and go "Brrrt" when they die? I don't know. That's just a theory, though. A shitty theory.
Guys,
I don't know.
Speaking of shitty theories about alternate realities and what does it all mean,
Yes.
I played The Witness. And man,
what is
Jonathan
that game?
Blow is an artist. He is an actor. He speaks the true meaning of it all. And if your fragile mind is but
Am I smart
slightly
enough to
tuned
play
in
game?
to the universe around you, you might understand the true meaning. Actually, I really haven't seen any of that. There is like philosophical stuff in it, similar to Braid, but I don't think it actually has any bearing on the gameplay of it, and I haven't really seen too much of that stuff. But that game is really good. It's, for one, really pretty to look at, which I know is not its main, like the main point of it even, but it just
I don't know.
looks
Super Mario Land
so
looks
good.
really good.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Pretty good.
How many colors you got?
None. You don't need colors, man. You don't need it. It's just art. Just
That
art
this-
with pixels.
Who is the witness? Are you the witness
It's
in the game?
it's up to you, man. You just gotta figure it out. I don't know if the name. I honestly don't know if the name means anything. If maybe it means something later on, but I don't. As far as I'm aware. So have you guys heard of a game called Myst, or played a game called Myst?
Yes.
Back when I was a kid, one of the first PC games I ever got was Myst, and I remember thinking this game is amazing, and also thinking I don't know what the heck this game is, and I never
Yes.
got past the first I'm on the island walking around.
I played at
That's all,
my friend's
that's-
house and I had the exact same experience.
That's kind of like as far as I got in Myst, but I remember at the time being like, "Whoa!"
Myst was always like really unsettling to me.
Yeah, I
That's
was
why
scared
I
of
kinda
Myst.
liked it as a kid.
I was scared of Myst. Yeah, it weirded me out.
Bring me a red page. Bring me a blue page.
Yeah. So The Witness is very similar to Myst. It's not as scary.
Jonathan Blow just go, bring me a red page.
Yes. That's,
Witness
it's
this
just a-
red
it's just-
page as I
It's just
read
a
it.
video. It's just a video of him at the beginning going, "Bring me this red page. I'm going to lock it behind about 800 puzzles."
It's just like the intro to Brutal Legend, where he's just, instead of Jack Black, it's Jonathan Blow just sitting there in a old
"Hey,
video
man,
game store, an old
do you want
PC.
to do options or like no? No, seriously, the game is super similar to Myst. You turn the game on and it just starts. There's no menu. So the game is two things. It's one, this amazingly beautiful island with all these sorts of biomes in it. Like it has a little town in it. It has a little castle. It has a mountain. It has a little desert. It has like a Japanese bamboo forest. It has a little
Just
apple
like
orchard.
Super Mario Land.
It has like all these things in it, and everything is really beautifully rendered, really pretty to look at. It is basically completely separate in some ways to the gameplay, which is just a bunch of puzzles, and the puzzles are imagine a really. This is really hard to say if you haven't seen the puzzles, but have you guys seen anything of this game yet? Like watched anything?
I've seen them. It's like mazes, man. You gotta go through a
Yeah,
maze.
they're like little mazes, but
panels.
not.
They're like
Yeah,
the,
they're like-
the back of a cereal box maze kind of thing, but they're a little bit more.
Yeah. So like the idea is there's always a starting point. You got to get the line to the ending point without crossing over yourself. But then it continues to throw. Like that sounds like really simple, right? But it continues to throw way more complicated modifications of that rule into the mix, and there is no text, no except for like a one prompt at the very beginning that says like press A to engage with puzzle, and press A to do the puzzle. That's the only thing it says. There is a run button, but it never tells you. It never even tells you that, and that's the only other thing that you can do is puzzle and run.
So what is your representation in the game? Are you a man?
You probably are a man, but you can see your shadow, but you can't see yourself.
But is that man a man shape?
What?
Is that a man shadow?
What is a man?
Oh.
Nothing but a miserable pile of secrets.
Oh.
So this game is light cycles in a maze.
Kind of. There's no time constraint. There's no driving like force. There's no story. There's no guy that comes on screen and goes like, "You must escape the island." Or there's no note. There's no audio logs. At least so far. I'm not super deep into it. I'm only about an hour or two in. It's just some really challenging puzzles and some really pretty scenery. And what's really cool is how those start to mix together, because at first they seem completely unrelated. Where like it's like, oh, this is really pretty and all, but it could just been a bunch of panels in a, like, I could have just like, you beat level 1, here's the next puzzle, like you beat level 2, because like that's kind of all it is. Like you complete a panel, and a lot of times what will happen is it will then like light up this, like this cable will then like light up on the side of that box that you're on, and it's like, oh, follow this cable, and it leads you to, oh, another puzzle. And like the only thing that you ever get for beating a puzzle is the chance to do some more puzzles. But some cool stuff has already happened where by doing some of those puzzles and how those puzzles interact with the world, I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say that there's several times where like you need to look at the environment to understand how to beat a puzzle, and the game never tutorializes any of its modifications. So anytime the mazes there's a new thing on the maze, there's a really cool thing the game does where it has like, it'll have like in each kind of area where you learn that new section, there'll be some like tutorial panels, which are just like really simple mazes that have this new mechanic in it that like slowly get harder and harder, kind of right in a row, not even far apart, but right next to each other, so you can very easily grasp. Just as an example, there's one where it's like, oh, there are these black dots in the maze, and the first one is like a square, like it's like the one has a black dot in one direction and the other one doesn't. If you go to the one that has the black dot and you can complete it, you can complete it. If you don't go and touch the black dot, then you can't beat this maze. So you just learn, okay, well, I have to touch the black dots. And it's like, okay, here's a maze with 3 black dots. Hit them all and get to the end. Same, and then like it starts throwing, more and more, kind of twists on that formula. So that's kind of how it teaches you. But theoretically, if you, like, let's just say already had beaten the game, you could just restart it again and just start doing the puzzles, like the hardest ones. You wouldn't have to go through some of these tutorial ones, and like, if you knew already what the solutions were, you could just go and do them. You don't have to go through this stuff. There's no like order. It's no like, there isn't like, oh, you gotta do the desert area and then you gotta do this area. It's just like, no, you just, here's the island, go explore, and in the middle of the island there's gonna be all these panels everywhere, and you can go up to them and talk and like, interact with any of those as you see fit. Obviously certain things aren't turned on until you turn on something else first, but a lot of times that's kind of how it goes. But it's cool ways that the environment starts becoming more than just a pretty thing to look at, and the backgrounds of scenes sort of play into the puzzles, like the perspective of how you look at the puzzle can make a difference. I'm trusting on not to give away, because when you figure this out, it's like, oh my gosh, like there's puzzles where it's like there's no indication, there's no like big sign that says like, look behind you over here, look at this thing to figure out the puzzle solution. It's just like you just have to look at the screen and be like, oh, wait a minute, this lines up perfectly with this puzzle that I'm doing, so now I can use this as a reference, and like you wouldn't have figured that out unless you just kind of figured.
Seems like the game teaches you a lot of things intuitively and without actually being intrusive, like that it's a game.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, it's basically just kind of teaching you things all the time, and you could theoretically brute force some of these puzzles, but then you would just be in trouble later on, because then you wouldn't learn, because it continues to use these mechanics, and then it continues to even then like start to double layer them and like say like throw more than one twist on each thing at a time. So that's really a cool thing. There's even a like a quote unquote fast travel system inside, and to access that you have to do puzzles.
Cool.
Like a really simple one in such a way that like it's like it gives you a map of the island with a maze in the map, and depending on where you end your maze, that's where it'll take you. It's just kind of everything in that world interfaces. Like every kind of button or switch would be like a little maze puzzle. So it's really cool.
Better than Pipe Dream puzzle.
Yeah.
To hack everything. Hack this turret. Pipe Dream.
It is also really hard. Like I'm just probably not very good at puzzle games either, but like I am just getting stumped by some of these things, and I'm not even that far in. So I've continually gone back and forth, and it's really mind bending too, because you get this point where you're like, okay, I got this. I totally got this puzzle mechanic or what have you. Like it just makes sense, and then it will just throw another twist on it, on top of it.
Be on your toes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to play that game. It looks neat.
It's cool. It is really cool. I also, other than that, I've downloaded Rise of the Tomb Raider, but not played it.
Well,
yeah. Super
something
cool.
you can do.
We await your playing of it.
I'm going to tell you all about it. It's this new game, Rise of the Tomb Raider. It just came out.
It's a good
Oh,
game.
no.
It's a good game.
Take a can from the top of the building down, the can fall down and disappear.
Yep.
Yep. Climb all the way back.
And then get real sad.
Try it again.
All right, well, if that's all for games, then you know what time it is. It's time for the news.
Is it the news sound now?
The news crickets. The news crickets have been activated.
Yeah.
Am I doing the news?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You're the news guy.
Okay. Let's see.
This is
I guess I have my voice back, so I have no excuse. Let's see. So EA is out of E3, man. They leaving that stuff behind.
Oh my god.
They ain't gonna have a press
yeah.
conference there for the first time in, I think, 20 years.
No Drake
and
coming
they're
on
not
being like,
and they're not on the show floor either.
No, I think that's the crazier part is because Nintendo is
and-
still on the show floor, but EA's like,
Yeah.
nah, we don't need none of that. So they left the show
Yeah.
floor. They left the
And their thing was huge. Their
Yeah.
booth,
Celeb.
their booth was like the main one when you walked through that door. Like it was like right there in front
the
of your
biggest
face. Like
one.
well, and I mean their presentations were always like, we got here comes Drake to tell you about FIFA. Here's like some other
Here's
weird
Pele.
celeb thing. Here's the hoop god.
yeah, well, you know, he was definitely the biggest celebrity around.
Yes.
I mean,
But
The Hoop God.
they are still gonna. The Hoop God may still appear because they're moving it to EA Play, which is a 3-day off-site event at the Club Nokia, which is right next to the convention center.
unrelated.
Unrelated.
Unrelated. Right before.
Yeah, it starts
It's like during
Sunday.
like the week before, right?
I think
Or is it during?
it's like
Not.
a couple days before.
I think it's a couple days before.
Sunday before
still.
and goes to the 14th.
And they also still will be at E3. They will have private rooms to show press people stuff.
It's
But
interesting.
Okay.
but no show floor, no press conference.
No.
Yeah, because I was wondering, it's like, at this point, does EA just want to cut out the middleman of
That's
showing
probably part of it.
their stuff to, like, their audience, because they already are so familiar with their audience. They've got Battlefield, they got FIFA, they got Madden.
Battlefront.
That's like their...
Every single Star Wars game.
No, he's talking about like the staples though.
I'm
Yeah, that's
saying
true.
like the staples that like the triumvirate that they keep going back to.
I think it's also the fact that EA space is E3 floor space is pretty expensive. You know, it's not anything that's cheap, and they could
And-
probably save some
and
money if they just
they're-
do it their own.
and their press conference slot was in like the worst time slot. It was like crammed between two other.
Isn't it like Microsoft and Ubisoft, I think, or something?
I think it was yeah, and like on Tuesday or something like that. Like on a day where the show floor was already open, I think, or opening that day, something like that. I don't remember.
So no big crazy Mass Effect trailer then. for
Well,
this.
I think they will. I think they will just gonna do like a Nintendo Direct style thing. I would bet. That's what I would bet.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
definitely doing that.
If they were smart, they'd like. Ironically, it's really weird. Nintendo being so backwards in so many ways, but being really forward thinking in that regard, because the Directs are one of the smartest things they've ever done as far as
Yeah, that's really true.
their PR stuff. And I imagine the EA team is like, wait a minute, why are we paying thousands, tens of thousands, or however much I don't know how much it is, but a lot of money to get all this floor space in this press conference slot when it's like we could just do the same thing for like way cheaper renting a place down the road.
It's also the fact that they can also bring in the public, and unlike the press, the public will just be like, "Wow, new games! Whoa, this game's awesome!"
They'll have applaud signs lighting
Pretty
up,
much.
and it's like you get your free T-shirt if you applaud the loudest.
Yep. But bucking that trend of leaving E3 is not Bethesda, who's actually coming back for 2016. which is interesting because they did their first conference last year, and now
Well, Bethesda was always there, but
they never had
not as a conference.
A conference though. The
Yeah, the
conference
press
was new.
conference.
They're there to show what?
I don't know.
Fallout came out, fools.
Probably
Yeah, it's gonna be,
Fallout
it's
came
gonna be, it's
out,
gonna be
you're
more
done.
Fallout. They're gonna
Fallout
Get outta
4, DLC, Doom,
Yeah.
Dishonored 2,
Far Cry. No, wait, Far Cry.
Oh yeah, Dishonored 2. I forgot.
maybe something new. I don't know. It's weird.
Do you think another Elder Scrolls
Online
early.
expansion.
Well, no, I mean not. I meant like
$2
I meant like an
million.
Elder Scrolls numbered game.
Oh, maybe. I mean, that would be up their alley, but that seems like so quick to produce considering how long those
Right.
games
No, that's what I'm saying.
take.
Especially after Fallout just came out, it doesn't seem like it would line up. But like, I don't feel it's a lot to talk about for a press conference.
I think it's stretched out. I think it's only an hour, so maybe
Yeah.
not. It could be longer. I don't know, man. You could stretch it out, but it's interesting that they're going to show it again. So I guess they think they have enough. Who knows? We're going to find out.
Bethesda.
What other news we got here?
What's this one? I don't know what this means, Ethan. Trademark React and you get in trouble.
Oh, have you seen the
Oh.
React guys? What is it? What's the YouTube people? The Fine Brothers?
Yeah, so I heard a little bit about this, but I want to just clarify something here.
Mm-hmm.
When all those, blank reacts to blank, were those all done by one group? I thought that was just. I thought it was just like a trend. Like I didn't know that was one consortium of React videos.
Apparently, most of these were from one. YouTubers React, Kids React, like old people React.
Right.
Teams React.
Are all under like this umbrella
Really?
that these two brothers did, and they got so sick of people trying to do that same format that they were like, guess what, we're gonna try to trademark it, and if you want to make a video in the same format that we make our videos, you gotta license it through us.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But they tried to sell it as if they were building a React World community. Like it was
React
really
World?
weird. Yes, React World is their new
Did someone
community
do a
that
React
they're building.
video to their announcement of this?
They the brothers put up an analogy relating it to Burger King. Here's why I quote what they say. If you want to start a fast food restaurant, you could start one on your own and probably find huge success. But if you love Burger King and want to be part of that organization, if you join, you'll be able to get access to things like menu items and recipes and specific locals and promotional support, Benny Fine says. And these are two totally different routes. Same kind of thing here, React World. Weird to have the name React World. I don't know, I don't like that.
React World.
Just a
is really-
world
Yeah,
of
no,
reactions.
I saw both their announcement video as well as that update, because apparently, guess what? People don't like when it's like, hey, guess what? You can't make this type of thing, or we're gonna imply that we're gonna take your video down, or that we're going to
Well, I
force
saw
action against you.
some small article. I don't even know where it was, but some minor YouTube guy with like 100 subscribers got like hit with like a takedown notice and like a ban on his YouTube account because the Fine Brothers like filed it when he did a reaction video again. So like that kind of thing of I didn't even read the article. I just saw the headline and it was like what on earth is going on? That's how I heard of this.
I know
in the first place.
I think it was Reddit put up a thing where they're like, all right, everyone, let's just unsubscribe from them. And they just had like a live stream of the numbers going down of the,
Oh yes,
which was really weird and kind of crazy, but I don't know.
Mega 64 did a really good video.
Oh, really? I didn't see
Oh,
that.
I should check that out then. The article also says they apologized apparently since then.
No, they did an update and they were just like, guys, it's not what you think. We're sorry that we were not more clear about this sort of thing.
Yeah, it
It's
says
just-
they apologized and admit that they totally screwed up, or they completely screwed up, quotes, with how they went about explaining exactly what React World was trying to be.
And the Burger King analogy came out of that.
Yeah, and
Came
that
out
video
of
has been removed by the user, so I can't watch it to find out
Well,
how they explained and screwed that up.
Because
Interesting.
originally their like analogy was like, it's like America's Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent. They're both the same format, but one had the license from the other in order to do the same thing. Like, it was a really odd analogy.
Yeah, it's also a little weird just because you're not. That's not the same. It's not the same thing. Like you're like, it's like a style of. It's like trying to trademark, like improv comedy.
Yes, like I was gonna say, like slapstick comedy. Like you
like
can't
I'm Whose Line Is It Anyway, and we do pretty funny improv comedy, and you're over there doing like similar games to me, but like still your own comedy, and I'm like, no way, man.
We'll let you use our logos though.
Yeah,
if you want.
Like if you want to do improv comedy, then you gotta like pay me for improv. It's like
you have slapstick. Slapstick's trademarked by us.
It's just you know that these guys didn't make like the original React videos anyway, you know?
Right. And there's an element to this that I totally understand though, because I mean, if you come up with a really cool thing and it turns out to be this huge hit that then like everybody copies, because the internet like just outright steals stuff all the time.
Yes.
So I can totally understand the idea from it, and I think that maybe some sort of trademark would definitely be good. The idea of the whole point of a trademark is to know the thing that you're buying or consuming or viewing or whatever you may have is the original or the authentic one. That's why Kellogg's is trademarked. So if I buy a box that says Kellogg's on it, I know for sure it's really the real Kellogg's.
Peanut butter.
Yeah. No, but I can totally understand why someone would want to do that. Speaking of which, I don't see it on here, but like other related trademark news, Sony got turned down on their attempted trademark of Let's Play. We talked about that a while ago, but that only recently happened. I wanted to talk about that because that's a pretty big deal as well. But I guess before we move on to that part, trademarking things is a big deal. It's not something that you can just do for any word or phrase. And I understand why you would want to trademark something like that, but that's not gonna...
Yeah, especially when you start getting into weird gray areas, because one of me and Ethan's favorite videos, the Dog of Wisdom by Mr. Joe on YouTube, was actually used in a Fine Brothers video of like old people react to, or like somebody reacts to Dog of Wisdom. But they didn't ask him if they could actually use his video in their video, and he certainly was not getting any kind of recompense.
Did they show the video? Did they show the video in?
I think they show
the video.
They show clips of the video enough, like the short amount enough to like not
fall under to defend themselves as fair use.
Yes, but so. Like, just food for thought in terms of what the way these guys are thinking. Like,
right. So I didn't know that. I always thought to get around that exact stuff, they pulled the riff tracks, which was that they never showed the things they were reacting to. They just assumed the viewer had already gone and watched the thing, and then these are the old people reacting to that thing that you just saw. One of my coworkers did a similar... I wonder if it was these people, too. He did, like, a similar sort of, like he was running a YouTube channel. This is an old coworker now. Doing a YouTube channel with like reacting to like K-pop videos or something dumb like that. Okay. And he said he was being like sued, like over like someone over YouTube was trying to like litigate against him for like stealing the idea, and he was like, no, it's like and he says like, to get around it, there's a before and then like an after video, so none of them are the video. None of them are the the music video itself or whatever. Right. It's just like it's just like a person talking about it or something. So I didn't know. Yeah, if they're using clips from the videos, that's not cool.
I'll say out something way cooler though.
What?
Detective Pikachu.
Wait a minute, I want to talk about Sony. Let's Play.
Oh yeah, sorry.
They got turned down. The end.
Yeah. No, it's not the end.
What happened, man? Tell me.
They didn't. Because what happened was they got an initial rejection, which was more like a, hey, you have a couple months to explain why this is different from anything else that's called Let's Play. For instance, there was apparently some bar in Georgia or something like that, some arcade that was called like Let's Play with like a Z. And so they're like,
it's
you gotta
cool.
explain.
It's cool that way.
You gotta explain why this is like why your Let's Play is different from this random. Like it's like something like it came up on our search. You gotta explain why it's different. And then before Sony could respond to that initial rejection, it got rejected a second time, and it was like, no, wait a minute, that's too general. This is too wide of a thing to be trademarked. And then it's still not officially like done and dusted forever though. It just means that like Sony could technically they have time to revise it and update it if they want to. But the initial sign is that you're not going to be able to trademark the word Let's Play, which is possibly exactly what Sony was hoping for in the first place. They were possibly just checking to see if it had already been trademarked or if it could be trademarked, and now they can use it in their own marketing stuff if they want, if they want to, rather than, like, oh man, if we use the word Let's Play in our marketing video, is like Microsoft or someone else gonna like say, oh, we made that term, first or something.
But now it's now generalized though, right? So anyone can kind of use it.
Not officially, but it's
kind of what it's going towards.
It's leaning towards that direction. If they push it further, I would imagine it would go towards that direction. Yeah. So that's just interesting because I think that it was really scummy of them to even try it. But I can see maybe if they were just trying to check to see if somebody else had it first.
Yeah, it's worth a try. All I can do is say no, and they did. So there you go.
No one should really own. Again, it's the same kind of thing of like if improv comedy was trademarked like
It's
that.
true.
It's not okay. Like someone else has to be able to use that. It's a general thing.
You right.
All right, moving on to the important news that we all want to talk about.
Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, so there's a weird trailer
Detective
came out.
Pikachu.
Man.
Detective Pikachu. Pika.
Pika P.
But Seb, that's not what Detective Pikachu says. Detective Pikachu says, "Yo, man, what's up? I'm solving crimes because I talk like this because I'm an adult." But in Japanese. But this is exactly what he was saying. I translated it. Translated like, "Yo, I'm Pikachu. I'm talking to you."
Yeah,
right
that's really, really weird. But at the same time, I'm just remembering that Meowth in Pokemon.
It's true.
Can
Talking's hard.
Talking was hard.
I had to learn to talk.
She said, my
I wonder if we get that same thing from Pikachu in this. But it's just it's a weird live action trailer.
It's not just that he is talking. It's that his voice is of a fully grown cigarette smoking Japanese man. Like it is like not even. I love it. I think it's amazing.
Yes.
It's crazy. I can't believe that that's the voice. It's like, yes, this is the voice we want. He's wearing a freaking deerstalker, like the Sherlock Holmes cap.
It's funny because
I was just waiting for him to start smoking a cigarette. I really wanted him to just pull out a cigarette at one point and just be like.
It's funny because like in the trailer he runs into just like a normal Pikachu and. It's just the contrast is just so funny because like
he gets Pikachu.
Yeah, and
he's like,
but one of the more amazing news to come out of this is that there is currently a change.org petition going around that has several thousand signees on it to have Danny DeVito voice Pikachu in the Western version of
Have you seen that video? Pikachu. You must have seen that video already, right?
Which one?
The one where they put Danny DeVito's voice clips
I haven't
in face.
seen it.
I tweeted it out. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good.
Please go like right now and just have that pull up that video.
I don't need to see a concept video because it's just perfect in my head already. Like,
it's true.
There should be no other choice, really.
I'll tell you what, Nintendo, I will buy this game if that happens. If it doesn't, I will not buy this game. So there you go.
Wow, you've
that hard
put them
of
in
a
bind,
line?
Ethan.
That hard of a line, son.
Most of the game's really
good.
Put them in a bind, Ethan. Reggie's listening to this right now. He's going, "Oh crap!
Oh crap! What am I doing?
Oh crap! Now I want to get crap.
We gotta get Danny DeVito. What's he doing anyway?"
He's gonna pick up the phone. Nolan, I'm sorry. You're out. Ethan says he won't buy it. If Danny DeVito's not in it. No, I'm sorry, Nolan. My word is final. This is Ethan we're talking about.
Does anyone want some rum ham?
Like, my body is ready for
Go
Danny
on,
DeVito.
get your sword. Get your sword.
Pika this. I can think of some other good voices.
Yeah, but
Gilbert Gottfried would be pretty good.
Well, I don't want the game to be unplayable.
I was gonna say,
Danny DeVito.
You want people to buy the game, not to be driven away from the game. Troy Baker. It's gonna be Troy Baker.
Well, it's gonna be just some. Yeah, it's just gonna be some voice actor. But if it's still like an adult male voice playing a Pikachu, I will be interested. I'm not saying I'll buy it for sure, but I will still be. I don't even know what bring me close to a purchase.
Say much more about this game except you run around, you're a kid with this Pikachu and you're solving mysteries.
And are you a squid as well?
No, you're not.
No sale.
No sale.
This time you're just a kid.
You're a kid, not a squid.
Not even a cool
tagline. That's a tagline.
The song is much shorter. It goes, "You're a kid now," and then it just ends.
The music keeps playing as if there's gonna be more lyrics. In fact, it's the same song. It's just like there's just that one line though.
It just continues. Well, interesting.
If you haven't seen this trailer and know what's into this, go look up the Detective Pikachu trailer. It's in Japanese. You don't know what it says. It's fine. You don't need to know exactly what he's saying.
It's just weird.
And just need
and then,
to see
and then,
it.
and then after you're done, go look up the Danny DeVito trailer because that's also amazing.
Yes. So, Volition. Is that how you say it?
Volition.
I say Volition.
Volition.
Ebola. Volition. Volition released a prototype Saints Row game that they worked on for PSP. They put it out for free as an ISO download. You can download and either emulate or download your PSP if you still have one of those, and run it off there. Because pirating on the PSP is really easy. But yeah, it's really cool they did this because it's like I think they made this game after Saints Row 2. They decided they were going to try to port it to the PSP, and they're like, this ain't working, let's try something else. And they're like, this isn't working either.
This is still not working either.
So they got this kind of weird, busted-up game, which is pretty interesting that they're just like, here you go, we're not going to make any money off this, so have this for free.
That's really interesting. Volition's a really interesting developer. They make interesting stuff from Saints Row to like the Red Faction games, but this is a really nice, like, cool move of theirs to do. Again, they're not making any money off of it. They're not gonna sell it, so might as well just show people what they were working on and why it was bad.
It's cool for archival purposes. Like, if only Nintendo did this with Star Fox 2, that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
But ain't never gonna.
Ain't never gonna get it. Not this time. No,
Nope.
You're never gonna get it.
Because it's just a weird thing. I don't know. Also, over the weekend this happened, but Peter Molyneux's account got hacked, his Twitter account.
Yeah.
And Ricardo was so happy when he said he was retiring and quitting his work on Goddess, the game that's already had a troubled history. His Twitter got hacked, and he was just saying, like, I ain't working on this game no more. And it's like...
No, it was funny because it was like a really well written send off. It wasn't just like if like a normal troll getting through would have said like, "Hey, I'm gonna say racial slurs on Peter Molyneux's like Twitter page." No, it even was like one of two tweets. And by the way, is Matt listening? Is Matt live?
Nah.
Oh, okay, because you just you were frozen there.
Yeah, I told you. No, you guys have been doing that. You guys have been doing that where like your voice when you're not the one talking in the middle, the bottom ones have just been like frozen on the last shot.
Well, regardless, it was like a one of two tweet, and then that was it.
Yes, and you frantically like you're like, oh my god, conspiracy! It's all a plot.
And then he came back.
He's been planning this all along.
And was like, "Oh, I guess I was hacked." And then
how do I delete tweets?
And then he just left the tweets up for like another 40 minutes. And I was like, delete the dang tweets! This is really confusing.
Not everyone's a social media expert, Ricardo, unfortunately.
But yeah, I was pretty over happy that he might be done forever making games. And I would never have to hear him talk ever again.
You haven't heard him talk in a while anyway. He stopped that.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He was like, I ain't talking no more. It hurts too many
I'm done
people.
with this talking thing.
It hurts too many people, so I'm going to shut up and be quiet and work on my goddess game.
That's what Peter Molyneux sounds like.
That's exactly it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's my perfect spot-on impression.
He's like, imagine in a world where you can choose to eat meat or not eat the meat, and that makes you fat for some reason.
No, you're getting it all wrong. It's like, Crocky, imagine a world where you and your feisty little sailor can get in on this here adventure of a lifetime. You get in your biplane, you fly around, you drive a car, you crash the car into a different car, and you shoot the guy, and you jump on that car. It's a great world.
What if you ran a movie studio? Wouldn't it be crazy?
Imagine a world. Hey, that's racist.
Imagine a world where you could be, you can't have.
No, that's more like it.
You
That's
can
closer,
have
yeah.
the guns, and you have mein Dog, and you say "Ach du lieber." I cannot believe how many choices there are. I could be good or I could be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly like
so,
it.
So good, right?
Anyway, so
or
this
bad.
This is the end of this news story now.
Oh no, I thought we did a pretty good job
Peter
covering it.
Molyneux,
This is the end of all this news.
Peter Molyneux is not retiring, sadly. He is fine.
And this conversation ended with us going, me and Ricardo saying, Peter Molyneux's never really made that great of games. He's just talked real big.
And then I
think
disagree.
I think Ricardo feels more upset about it than I do. I was never into those games, so I never felt particularly burned, but I always felt like this guy's really well known, but I can't think of a thing that I've enjoyed that he's like, unlike other game creators where like, oh, this person's really well known and I like either can appreciate a lot of what they've done or get a lot of enjoyment out of what they've done.
He throws around like really good ideas, and then literally everyone else executes his ideas better than his own like games that he puts out.
I ain't seen a game execute as well as Black and White 2.
When was that? When that
was a while ago.
What is that
It was
game?
years
even?
ago.
Have you guys never seen Black and White 2?
Of course
Nope.
I've seen Black and White 2.
I haven't.
I just don't know what exactly it is. It's like, oh, I'm a big monkey, and then there's a little guy.
You're not a big monkey. You're a god, and that's your avatar. And then you have the monkey do stuff for you. It's just like a city builder type thing.
That was over a decade ago.
Yep.
I think if he hasn't come out with anything good since then,
The movies is great. I like that a lot.
Was he Citizen Kabuto? Or was he not Citizen Kabuto? Was that somebody else?
I don't know.
Giants. I doubt it was him.
Probably wasn't. Looking at games he's making.
Has anybody here played Goddess?
No. I forgot it was out. It was like out in a weird
well,
mode,
wasn't it in like, isn't it in like a beta? It's not actually out.
It's
in
like early access.
Yeah, I think I have seen it played. I have not paid for it. It seemed kind of like a generic. This is a long time ago now, I suppose, but it seemed kind of like a generic God game that was kind of limited in how much stuff it actually had in it. Didn't seem. I don't think he'd promised the moon on this one though. It was just like the curiosity thing. This is the result of that.
What's inside the cube?
It was Goddess.
It was the Goddess. Remember Project Milo? The Connect demo?
Yes.
Nope.
That was weird.
It was the kid, and like you could be like, Milo.
Hello.
How you doing?
He's
Hello.
like,
how
oh.
you and then I think it kind of evolved into what's that game?
Fable the
Connectimals?
Journey?
No, but I mean like
Connect-
Connectimals basically did
Oh,
the same
kinda,
thing.
yeah.
Oh man.
In a less creepy way, because instead of a weird kid, you're
Talking
playing
to like bears and stuff.
yeah, bears and cats, jungle
Cute
cats.
stuff.
Yeah, Connectimals.
Connectimals.
Hey, do you like Nintendogs? Do you wish you could touch Nintendogs?
You
can't
gotta pet
touch
the horse. You gotta
can't
pet
touch-
the horse. You gotta get the arrows out of the horse. And stab him into the horse. Don't do that.
Is
Such
that
a weird game.
is that in Fable the Journey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if your horse gets shot because you're riding on a horse, I think, like most of the game.
Uh-huh.
Or you're like driving a carriage most of
Yeah,
the game or
you're in
something
a
like
carriage.
that, and then you gotta like pet your horse and brush your horse in between levels, and then there's arrows sticking out of the horse. You gotta pull that out of the horse, but you can also just jam it into the horse. That's choices in video games if you want to be mean and
man.
evil.
Oh my god.
Choices in
Fable.
video games.
Just like the Fable games where it's like, do you want to kick this puppy or rescue this puppy? Those are that's the choice.
I want to eat the puppy though.
Well, then that's the evil choice.
Oh.
You win. You're the evil bad guy now.
Oh, I got the
But that's
horns
what the-
now. I got the horns.
You got them horns, dough.
I think it was Fable 2 where I remember gaming the economy like crazy in that because it was super easy.
Uh-huh.
Just like buying everything, all the real estate, and just being like, "Oh, I own
Owning the
everything now."
entire world.
Yeah, pretty much. That was a
I
weird
just
game.
remember being like really fat in Fable 2. Like really strong, but also like really fat. Because if you ate anything that wasn't like vegetables in that game, you would get like fat.
Just like real life.
Yep.
Just like real life.
Living proof.
Aw. Alright, enough of that. The last thing that's weird. Last news item is weird. Insomniac Games.
Makers of Ratchet and Clank?
Yes. They are producing a little indie title, a passion project they might say, called Song of the Deep, which is 2D side-scrolling adventure type game, whatever. And this wouldn't be too noteworthy except the fact that GameStop is publishing it, which is odd. It's like, what? So it's a digital download, but it will actually be in physical form at GameStop's retail stores. But GameStop's being weird and is saying, like, we're not a traditional publisher, but it's like, yeah, I don't know how this is.
Did they put their cap? Did they put their
In
cap
what
on
way?
backwards and sit in the chair backwards and be like, "We're not traditional publisher."
We're pretty cool. We're cool now. Check it out. We start indie games. Come here, buy this game, and then pick up a subscription of Game Informer. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Ethan immediately turns off his sound because he's got a
And then
cough.
and then he died.
Cutting
I thought
off
you guys
the
had something
last
to
thing
say.
he said. No, this is what I have to say. You know what my last two experiences in GameStop were?
Great.
It was a week after Metal Gear Solid 5 had launched.
Okay.
And I go into a GameStop and I look around for a little bit. I don't see the game there. I say, hey, do you guys have Metal Gear Solid 5? And they're like, did you pre-order it? And I'm like, no. And they say, yeah, we're out of stock, and really, I don't think we'll actually get any more stock of that game. And it's like, wait, why? Like, they're like, oh, well, our pre-orders, we pretty much just fulfill them, and if the game doesn't seem like it's a game that's going to garner much interest, we don't restock it. And I'm just like, okay, fine. And then I just thought it was really weird. And then this last week, Final Fantasy Explorers dropped on the 3DS.
Man, Final Fantasy. It's all sorts of Final Fantasy this week.
Just just give me it all.
So much fantasy. You need to live in a world of
much-
reality, man.
So much
No.
final.
No, I've got mold in my garage. I need to escape into fantasy world.
The mold saga lives on.
If you get real close to that mold and inhale it, you'll escape into a fantasy.
There you go. And it came out on the 26th. I went to a GameStop, I think, on, let's say, the 28th. And it was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found in that store. So I'm just like, this place is garbage. You have one job, and that is to stock video games. Stock the damn games.
Just get off Amazon, get that discount.
I did. That's what I ended up doing.
Oh.
If it ain't Call of Duty or Madden, they don't have it.
You right. It's so weird to me that it's like you're a game store, yet you won't stock a new release, or you won't stock by all means what is gonna be a popular game, Metal Gear Solid 5. It might not be the like casual purchase, like person wandering into the store. Oh, I'm gonna casually purchase Metal Gear or whatever, but I don't know. Just seems really
that's
weird.
That one's weird. The Final Fantasy one, I can kind of understand.
Final Fantasy, because it's a not that popular. Well, I mean, comparatively, the 3DS is not that popular to like a PS4. Or
it's true.
Xbox
I
One.
mean, it is all based on regions, though, because I remember they stopped carrying, like, the local one I used to live next to. I would go buy PC games or whatever, then one day they just stopped carrying it. I'm like, hey, where'd your PC games go? Like, oh, we never sold any, so we just don't carry them anymore. So, you know, it depends on the location, and they just weren't making that business. So, like, I feel like Metal Gear Solid 5 is, although it sounds popular in our circles, to, like, the standard person who's walking into a GameStop who hasn't figured out that maybe I shouldn't buy things off GameStop because they rip me off. They might not realize, you know, like, oh, but, you know, I want to buy this game. I want to instead buy Call of Duty, whatever.
Well, that's honestly why I just go to Target now to buy games. Like, if I have to buy a physical version for some reason, I just go to Target. Because the other thing that's nice about Target is that although they usually have most of the games, they usually don't have like the hugest selection in the world. They usually have all the new releases, if that's a big thing. Also, they're not the game store, so people don't go there to pre-order stuff as often. And thirdly, when I buy something there, they don't ask me to pre-order 20 other things. And if I want to get this in a Game Informer's description and this, there's like, okay, it's $60. All right, there you go. Done. That's the end of my transaction. I don't have to talk to this, like, you know. And I always feel bad for the employees, too, because they don't want to, like, try and upsell me. Well, most of them probably don't want to try and upsell me on 10 different things.
They do want to know if you want to get that red card, though.
Target, yeah. Not if you're at the games section.
Oh, that's true. They don't care there.
Do you have Target? Do you have Cartwheel?
And I have a red card.
Do you have the Cartwheel app on your phone though?
Is that a different? Is that a separate thing?
I don't know. It's apparently a thing you can use at Target, and it'll tell you like all the stuff that's on sale or whatever at Target. It's called Cartwheel.
Crazy.
There's also an ad.
My mom loves it. But funny enough, that day my lunch break was going to GameStop and failing to get Metal Gear Solid 5. And then my after work was going to Target and getting it because it was there and in stock.
Sounds about right.
So go to Target, not to GameStop, or better yet, just get your stuff off Amazon.
Yep.
Just wait a couple of days. You can live without it for a couple of days and just get it off of GameStop. Get it off of Amazon. Final Fantasy
Get that discount.
Final Fantasy Explorers. Coming soon.
It's crazy.
Coming soon.
It's crazy.
Oh, I'm looking at Amazon right now. They have a virtual reality section now.
Forget it. Don't buy anything off of Amazon ever again. Just get everything from Target.
I usually buy from Amazon if I want, especially if it's a pre-order. If I am going to pre-order something, I buy it from Amazon because it arrives at my door on the day it comes out.
Yep.
In most cases,
That's
rather than having to go to a place to pick it up.
That's where I got my Street Fighter coming in from.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Might get Street Fighter from there as well. Ooh. I think that's it for news.
All right,
though.
well that's all the news, guys. So that means that's the end of the podcast.
What's the podcast called?
The Pixel Podcast.
The Pixel Podcast.
The Pixel Podcast. It's
The
the same thing I call it every week.
The Pixel Podcast.
It's the same thing I call it every week. All right, guys. If you are listening to this still, if you've put up with us for this long, go ahead and like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. And yeah, you can send us an email if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have things that we did wrong, got wrong, said wrong, thought wrong, things that you want to like change about the universe, petitions you want to have for Dan DeVito in a Pikachu game.
Have three Danny DeVitos replace us on the podcast.
Petition to have
amazing.
Dan DeVito replace us. Just a conversation with himself. Then send us an email. It's email@pixellegends.com with 1 L. That's our website as well, pixellegends.com. Check us out. And we will be back next week for another episode of the Pixel Podcast. Woo!